There will come a moment, perhaps now, in the gentle hush between heartbeats, when your soul feels a longing that cannot be named. It does not arrive with fanfare or drama, but softly like the first rays of dawn, spilling gold across a silent landscape. In that tender moment when the old stories fall away and the world grows quiet, you may notice a subtle current running through everything. A quiet invitation not to strive, not to flee, but simply to feel. This is the beginning, the silent threshold of awakening, where you realize that to truly live, you must learn to feel it now. Close your eyes, if you wish, and turn inward. Let the noise settle. Let the expectations dissolve like mist in morning sunlight. Breathe deeply and notice. Beneath every thought, behind every desire, there is a wellspring of presence, steady, unshakable, eternal. The sages and poets, the mystics and prophets, all pointed toward this same sacred river. Lao Tzu called it the Tao. Jesus named it the kingdom within. And Rumi sang of it as the beloved hiding in plain sight. But all their words, no matter how luminous, are but fingers pointing to the moon. The moon itself, the living reality, can only be found by entering into this moment and feeling it, truly feeling it now. You have been taught to look ahead toward goals, toward healing, toward some future version of yourself. The world, in its restlessness, whispers that happiness waits just beyond the horizon, that peace is something to be earned, that love is conditional upon your perfection. Yet these are only shadows on the wall of a cave you were never meant to inhabit. The truth is not hidden in the distance. It is not waiting for you to become someone else. It is already present in the ground beneath your feet and the air that moves through your lungs. It is in the gentle rise and fall of your chest, in the quiet certainty of your own being. Feel it now. You are not your past. The stories you have told yourself, the victories and wounds, the regrets and longings are but passing clouds in an infinite sky. You are not your achievements nor your failures. You are not the face in the mirror, nor the names you've collected, nor the masks you have worn to please a world that has forgotten its own divinity. You are the one who sees it all. You are the witness, the timeless awareness in which every joy and sorrow arises and dissolves. Like the ocean, undisturbed by the waves above, your true nature remains untouched, always whole, always enough. So much of your suffering, beloved soul, comes not from what is, but from your resistance to what is. The mind, restless and clever, weaves stories of how things should be different, better, safer. It clings to the past, rehearses the future, and calls this vigilance survival. But the soul knows another way. The soul does not strive. The soul does not chase. The soul simply is, radiant and unmoving, a silent flame that burns in every heart. When you surrender the argument with reality and rest in what is, you discover a peace that cannot be given or taken away. It was never lost. It was only hidden by the noise of becoming. Feel it now. Feel the aliveness in your hands, the pulse in your veins, the silent intelligence that animates your every cell. This body is not just matter, it is a miracle. Every breath you take is a symphony. Every sensation, a reminder of the sacred. Do not wait for perfect conditions to awaken. Do not postpone your arrival at the feast of the present. The invitation has always been in your pocket, written in the script of your soul. Come home to your senses. Come home to the now. There is a place within you that cannot be hurt, cannot be diminished, cannot be touched by the storms of circumstance. It is your essence, spacious, aware, free. The world may demand that you harden, but your spirit is soft, receptive, open. The world may reward the mask, but your joy comes from dropping it. True strength is not in armoring the heart, but in revealing it moment by moment to the rawness of life as it unfolds. When you feel deeply, when you open fully, you become a conduit for grace itself. Healing begins when you turn toward your pain, not with resistance, but with loving curiosity. Every wound is a doorway, every sorrow a guide. The heart does not need to be protected from feeling, it needs to be liberated into feeling, for it is in feeling that you meet yourself. The tears you have held back for years are sacred waters, cleansing the soul, reminding you that there is nothing broken in you, only places longing to be seen, to be felt, to be embraced as part of the whole. Let go now of the need to understand everything. Let go of the need to be understood. There's a wisdom deeper than thought, an intelligence beyond reason. It is the voice that whispers in stillness, the intuition that nudges you gently, the knowing that needs no proof. Trust that. Listen to that. The mind will always ask for guarantees, but the soul asks only for your presence. Feel it now, the aliveness, the mystery, the presence that you are. Every spiritual tradition, at its core, points to the same truth. Salvation is not elsewhere. Enlightenment is not a future event. The kingdom of heaven is spread out upon the earth, but men do not see it. Why? Because we are busy searching for what can only be found by stopping, by opening, by allowing. There is nowhere to go, nothing to achieve, no future state that will make you more whole than you are in this breath. You are not on a journey to become, you are on a journey to remember. Remember the innocence with which you entered this world, the wonder, the curiosity, the unguarded joy. That purity is not gone. It is only buried beneath layers of should and must and not enough. But like a spring beneath the snow, it waits for your return. Feel it now. Peel back the layers, not with force, but with gentleness. Each moment you allow yourself to be as you are, without judgment or resistance, you water the roots of your own being. You awaken the sacred seed planted in you by eternity itself. You are already home. The search ends when you realize there is nothing to find but the present. The present is the only place where life happens, where healing happens, where love is possible. You cannot feel tomorrow. You cannot touch yesterday. You can only awaken to now. And what is now? Now is the eternal, unchanging backdrop to all experience. Now is the field in which thoughts arise, sensations dance, emotions bloom and wither. Now is not a fleeting second on the clock. It is the dimension in which you truly exist. When you enter the now, you enter the timeless. You discover the still point around which the world turns, the silent center from which all action flows. Feel it now, the simplicity, the depth, the richness of being. No striving, no fixing, no becoming, just being. The mind will try to complicate it, to analyze, to control. But the heart knows. The heart recognizes itself in the rhythm of the present. When you live from this place, every action becomes a prayer, every word a blessing, every encounter an invitation to awaken further. Release the ego, that clever architect of separation. The ego is not an enemy, but a faithful servant who has forgotten its place. It builds identities, clings to opinions, feeds on comparison and fear. But you are not the ego's creation. You are the open sky in which the ego's weather comes and goes. You are the silent watcher, the unchanging witness. As you begin to feel this truth, not as an idea, but as a living reality, your suffering loosens its grip. You are no longer the character in the story, but the space in which the story unfolds. Freedom comes when you stop identifying with the fleeting and rest in the eternal. You do not need to annihilate the ego only to see through its illusions. The more you rest in presence, the more the ego dissolves like a shadow before the rising Sunday, and what remains is love. Love not as an emotion, but as the fabric of reality. Love not as a transaction, but as your deepest nature. Feel it now, the quiet, unwavering love that holds you even when you forget, even when you fall. Your true identity is not personal, it is universal. You are not just a person living a life, you are life itself, appearing as a person for a little while. The ocean does not fear the wave, for it knows the wave is only a temporary form. You are the ocean, vast, deep, infinite, taking this particular shape for a season. To awaken is to remember this. I am not just this body, this story, this mind. I am the consciousness in which all bodies, stories, and minds arise. Do not fear the emptiness. Do not resist the silence. These are not voids, but portals. In the silence, you meet yourself. In the emptiness, you find fullness. The soul speaks not in noise, but in stillness. If you want to know who you are, be still, listen, feel. Feel it now. You are enough. You have always been enough. No achievement, no accolade, no amount of approval can add to your essence. Your worth is not up for debate. It is not a prize at the end of a race. It is the ground upon which you walk, the air you breathe, the very fact of your existence. You are worthy because you are. There will be days when you forget. Days when the old voices grow loud, when the world's demands feel heavy, when the heart aches with the weight of unspoken longing. On those days, return to the breath. Return to the now. Place your hand over your heart and remember, I am here, I am alive, I am enough. The journey is not about becoming better. It is about becoming real, becoming fully yourself. Not the self that performs for acceptance, but the self that is at ease in its own skin. the self that loves without reason, gives without calculation, receives without guilt. This is your original face, your birthright, your homecoming. Feel it now, the freedom of being. The freedom to let go of striving, to release the armor, to stand unguarded before life. You do not need to earn your place in existence. You do not need to apologize for your humanity. Every flaw, every quirk, every tenderness is an expression of the infinite wearing your name for a while. Let yourself be moved. Let yourself be touched by the beauty and pain of living. To feel is not weakness, it is strength. It is what connects you to everything, what binds you to the great web of life. The flower does not resist the sun, it opens. The river does not hold back its song, it flows. You too are meant to open, to flow, to feel. When you feel fully, you heal. Not because the pain disappears, but because you no longer contract around it. You allow it to move through you, to teach you, to transform you. The wound becomes the womb of awakening. The darkness becomes the canvas for new light. The places you most want to avoid hold the key to your freedom, if only you will feel them now. This is the pathless path, the wayless way. It cannot be mapped or taught or possessed. It can only be lived, moment by moment, breath by breath. There are no rules, no formulas, no 10 steps to enlightenment. There is only this: stop, be still, feel what is here. Trust what arises, let life have you. You are not here to fix the world. You are here to awaken to your own aliveness, and in doing so, become a living invitation for others to do the same. Your greatest gift to the world is not your perfection, but your presence. Not your achievements, but your authenticity. Not your certainty, but your willingness to feel, to not know, to be vulnerable and real. Feel it now, the interconnectedness of all things. The breath you take was exhaled by trees. The water in your veins once danced in ancient seas. The atoms in your body were forged in stars. You are not separate. You are not alone. The web of life is intimate, intricate, holy. When you remember this, compassion arises naturally. You cannot harm another without harming yourself. You cannot heal yourself without healing the world. Let your heart be broken open. Let your defenses fall away. The world does not need more protected hearts. It needs hearts that are willing to be pierced by beauty and truth, by sorrow and love. Only an open heart can be filled. Only an open heart can heal. There is nothing you need to do to be loved. There is nothing you need to become to be accepted. The beloved in you is already present, waiting for your recognition. Feel it now, the love that does not depend on conditions, the peace that does not depend on circumstances, the joy that arises simply from being. You are not a problem to be solved, but a mystery to be lived. You are not a project, not a puzzle, not a process with an end date. You are an unfolding, a flowering, a dance of energy and light. There is no arrival, only deepening, no finish line, only further intimacy with the now. As you rest in presence, the world transforms. Not because it changes, but because your perception clears. You see through the eyes of the soul, soft, compassionate, forgiving. You understand that everyone is doing their best with the awareness they have. You drop the need to judge, to compare, to compete. You see yourself in every face, recognize your longing in every heart. Feel it now, the unity, the oneness, the seamless tapestry of being. The lines that divide are illusions. The boundaries between self and other are porous, insubstantial. What you give, you receive. What you withhold, you deny yourself. Let love flow through you, unimpeded. Let your life be a blessing, not by effort, but by presence. Do not wait for another lifetime to awaken. Do not postpone your joy until the circumstances are perfect. This moment is the doorway. This breath is the key. Open to it. Enter it fully. Let it wash over you, cleanse you, baptize you into the living waters of now. Every teacher, every teaching, every sacred scripture is only a reminder you are already what you seek. You are the peace, the love, the wisdom, the freedom. You do not need to become, you only need to realize, to feel, to embody. Feel it now, the fullness, the grace, the wonder of being alive. Even the challenges, the heartbreaks, the losses are sacred. They are part of the whole, threads in the great tapestry. Nothing is wasted, nothing is lost, everything belongs. Release the past, release the future. Let the tide of now sweep you clean. Begin again and again and again. Each moment is a birth, a chance to remember, a chance to return. You are not your thoughts. You are not your feelings. You are not your story. You are the space in which all these arise and pass away. You are the awareness behind the eyes, the silence between the words, the stillness at the heart of all movement. Feel it now. Let this be the prayer of your life, not to arrive, but to awaken. Not to conquer, but to connect. Not to possess, but to experience. The world is hungry for presence, your presence. The world is longing for authenticity, your authenticity. The world is aching for love, your love. You do not need permission to shine. You do not need validation to exist. The sun does not ask the sky if it is worthy to rise. The moon does not seek approval to glow. They simply are, and in their being, they bless the world. So too you, in your being, you bless. In your presence, you heal. In your willingness to feel it now, you become a light in the darkness, a balm for weary hearts, a reminder of what is possible when we stop hiding, stop striving, stop pretending. Let your life be a living poem written by the hand of the infinite, spoken in the language of now. Let your actions arise from presence, your words flow from love, your silences echo with the truth of your being. There is no greater gift you can give the world than to be fully yourself, awake, alive, unafraid to feel. There is no higher calling than to live as presence, to let the divine move through you, to trust the unfolding, to dance with the mystery. This is the secret, hidden in plain sight. What you have been searching for is already here. The treasure is not at the end of the road, it is in the walking. The answer is not in the future, it is in the feeling. The miracle is not something to chase, it is something to receive. Feel it now. This is your homecoming. This is your liberation. This is your birthright. The journey is simple. Stop, be still, listen, feel. And in the silent sanctuary of the now, remember, you are not separate. You are not lacking. You are not waiting for your life to begin. You are life itself. So feel it all. Let joy and sorrow, hope and fear, peace and longing flow through you as rivers returning to the sea. Let yourself be lived by life, guided by love, held by the mystery that beats your heart and moves the stars. This is your invitation. This is your awakening. This is your freedom. Feel it now. And as you rest deeper into this luminous presence, you may notice a quiet revolution stirring within, a gentle uncoiling, as if the very roots of your being are stretching into sacred ground. With each inhale, the boundaries of self soften. With each exhale, the need to grasp or to name loosens its hold. Life, in its infinite wisdom, reveals that you were never meant to be a fragment, torn, striving, incomplete, but an ever-opening field of awareness where all things find their place. Each sensation, each longing, each fragile hope is welcome here, carried on the current of a boundless spirit that asks only for your yes to this moment. Consider the nature of a river, how it carries fallen leaves and swirling eddies, never clinging, never regretting the stone it cannot move. The river does not agonize over the twists in its path, nor does it shrink from the dark places beneath overhanging roots. It allows, it surrenders. It moves in perfect faith, trusting the unseen ocean that calls every drop home. And so it is with you when you surrender to the flow, when you stop struggling against the tides of your own experience, you rediscover a freedom that is softer than hope and stronger than fear. The old ache to control, to predict, to ensure an outcome falls away, replaced by the deep assurance that what unfolds here in this unfolding now is enough. There is a wisdom that rises only in surrender, a wisdom born not of calculation or intellect, but of the heart's silent willingness to receive. When you listen without agenda, you become a vessel for the guidance that has been waiting for your stillness. A gentle thought, a subtle impulse, a feeling of rightness, it is the divine arranging itself within you one moment at a time. Trust this guidance. Trust the timing that sometimes delays, the detours that gently redirect, the pauses that ask you to wait and grow more aware. Life is not in a hurry, even if your mind is. The oak tree is not impatient to be a forest. It grows by being fully present in each ring, each season, each silent prayer for rain. As you learn to be with what is without recoiling or retreating, you become intimate with your own depths. The wounds you once tried to hide, the fears you armored yourself against, become doorways to a greater tenderness. To feel fully is not to drown, but to discover that you are vast enough to contain both pain and joy, both loss and new beginnings. Your capacity for presence is the greatest miracle. It is the ground where forgiveness flowers, where peace gathers, where compassion blossoms without effort. Notice now the subtle music beneath all things, the steady hum that has accompanied you since the first breath. It is the song of being, older than memory, quieter than thought. When you allow yourself to rest in this sacred hum, the anxieties that once clamored for your attention begin to dissolve as fog yields to the rising Sunday. This is not the forced peace of denial, but the unforced grace of recognition. You remember yourself not as a collection of moments, but as the timeless presence through which all moments pass. In this space, gratitude emerges not as a discipline, but as a spontaneous celebration. You find yourself marveling at the ordinary, the way light slants through the window, the quiet patience of trees, the laughter that bubbles up unexpectedly in the presence of a friend. You realize that the miracle is not in some distant achievement, but in your capacity to meet each moment with openness. The world is transformed, not because its nature has changed, but because your eyes have cleared, your heart has unshuttered. Allow yourself to be surprised by how much gentleness lives in you. Let go of the old narratives that cast you as adversary to yourself, forever striving, forever lacking. The one who breathes you is not measuring your worth. The one who loves you from within knows only wholeness. And as you surrender your defenses, you begin to see this same wholeness reflected in every soul you meet. The boundaries between self and other become translucent, and compassion flows as naturally as breath. It is here, in this boundless compassion, that forgiveness arises not as a duty, but as a byproduct of deep seeing. To forgive is not to excuse or forget, but to recognize the innocence beneath all error, the longing for love beneath all harm. You discover that what you resist in others is often a reflection of what you have not yet blessed within yourself. By turning inward and extending mercy to every exiled part of your being, you set both yourself and the world free. There is no need to rush your unfolding. The flower does not bloom by force, nor does it chastise itself for unfurling one petal at a time. Every stage of your journey is sacred, every stumble an invitation to return to kindness. You are being shaped not by circumstance, but by your willingness to meet each moment as it comes. The more you open to the now, the more you realize that your life is not happening to you, it is happening for you, through you, as you. Let your breath be the bridge to this miracle. With each inhale, receive what is given. With each exhale, release what is no longer needed. In the rhythm of breathing, you touch eternity, you taste the divine, you remember the source from which you came. And so, walk gently through this day, trusting that you are always guided, always held. Let your heart be an altar upon which every joy and sorrow is laid. Allow yourself to be lived by the great mystery that is forever pouring itself into form, forever calling you home, not to a destination, but to the infinite spaciousness of now. Let every step be a blessing, every word a prayer, every silence a return. And as you live this way, without striving, without clinging, you become the very presence you once sought. You become the invitation for others to feel it too now. There is a quiet sanctity in simply being here, letting the breath move as it will, letting the heart speak in its native language of wonder. The winds of longing, the tides of memory, the pull of tomorrows, they dissolve softly in this gentle return. You become aware, as if for the first time, that the very space in which you sit is sacred, that every cell, every heartbeat, every silent urge to love and be loved is woven from the same fabric as the stars. You are not waiting for life to begin. You are standing at the doorway of eternity, already inside. Feel now how the mind grows quiet in the presence of truth, how all the plans and fears that once seemed so important now bow before something vaster, something wordless and whole. The world, with all its noise and movement, recedes for a moment, and you recognize yourself not as a separate fragment, but as the original note in the great symphony, the silent witness, the smile behind your thoughts. You are no longer looking out from behind a mask. You are looking with the eyes of the soul, seeing not objects but essences, not differences but the shimmer of unity behind all forms. Allow this awareness to deepen like a pebble falling into a still pond, sending ripples to the very edges of your being. In this silence, all questions are answered. In this presence, all wounds are embraced. There is nothing left to chase, nothing left to fear, nothing left to lose, for you cannot lose what you are, you cannot lack what you are made of. The river does not run out of water, the flame does not run out of light, and the soul does not run out of love. Let yourself be lifted, as a leaf is lifted by the breeze, trusting the currents that carry you through each season of life. When the world grows heavy, return to the breath. When the heart aches with longing, return to the breath. When words fall short, return to the living pulse that unites all things. For here, in this holy inhalation and exhalation, you meet the source that has never left your side. You remember that you are not the seeker, but the sought, not the wanderer, but the home, not the prayer, but the answer. Let the old burdens be set down, one by one, every not enough, every anxious grasp, every echo of a past that no longer claims you. Let the future be free to unfold, unshaped by worry, untouched by old fears. The only thing asked of you is presence. The only thing required is surrender. When you surrender, not as defeat, but as an opening like a flower to the sun, you step into the flow of grace that has always been here, waiting for you to say yes. Here's where true healing happens, quietly, without struggle or striving. Here, you discover that what you thought was emptiness is really fullness. What you thought was silence is alive with wisdom. What you thought was the end is really a beginning. There is no path to walk, for you are the path. There is no love to earn, for you are the love. There is nothing outside you to find, for you are the very treasure you have been seeking. Let this knowing fill you without boundaries, without hesitation, like sunlight pouring through open windows. Allow every thought to pass as a cloud, every feeling as a wave. You are the sky, vast and unwavering. You are the ocean, deep and unfathomable in your presence. All things are held, all things are blessed, all things are allowed to be just as they are. Walk gently, beloved, and let your life be the silent teaching. Let your peace ripple out, touching those who are weary, reminding them of what is possible when we remember our true home. When you meet others, see not their defenses, but their divine longing. Speak not to persuade, but to awaken. Love not as an act, but as your natural fragrance, the effortless scent of a soul unguarded, unafraid, utterly alive. For in this final return, this sacred surrender to the now, you discover that there are no more steps to take, no more secrets to unlock, no more distance to travel. You are already what you hope to become. You are already the miracle. You are already the light that dawns silently behind every shadow, the answer that has always lived beneath every question, the presence that blesses all things with its silent, loving gaze. Let yourself rest, at last, in the truth that you are complete, you are home, you are free. Feel it now. There's a gentle voice that whispers beneath the clamor of your daily life, softer than your own heartbeat and older than the world you've known. It calls you not by your name, but by the vastness of what you truly are. A soul in evolution, an endless being, quietly aching to remember. Listen, beyond every ambition, every disappointment, every echo of the past, that voice remains, patient as the dawn, urging you forward, inviting you to step into the truth of your future self. This journey, this singular awakening, is not a matter of distance or time. It is a movement within, a soft unfurling, like petals opening toward the sun after seasons of quiet dormancy. Step by step, moment by moment, you are being called not merely to change, but to return to yourself, to the luminous being you were before the world taught you to doubt your worth, to fear your own potential, to wear the mask of limitation. Today, I invite you to step into your future self, not as an act of striving, not as another item to check off some celestial to-do list, but as an act of gentle surrender, a remembering of what you've always carried inside. To step into your future self is to answer the call of the soul, to awaken to the truth that the you are becoming already exists within the you are now. The acorn does not chase the oak, it surrenders to its own unfolding. Close your eyes for a moment and breathe into the stillness. Feel the space between your thoughts. There is an entire universe waiting for you there, a realm untouched by regret or worry, a sanctuary of presence where the past holds no chains and the future offers only possibility. This space is where your soul lives, where your true self patiently waits, beyond the noise of the ego, beyond the pull of habit, beyond the looping narratives of not enough, not yet, not me. You are not your past, no matter how convincing the story. The future self you are called to embody is not a product of your wounds, your failures, or even your triumphs. It is the purest expression of the divine within you, boundless, creative, wise, and infinitely loving. The journey is not about becoming someone new, but releasing what you are not, letting go of what no longer serves, so that the brilliance within can shine through. Consider for a moment the rivers that shape the landscape. They do not force their way through stone. They surrender to gravity, to the gentle, patient pull of what is natural, and in that surrender they become powerful enough to carve canyons, to birth new worlds. Your future self is shaped not by force but by surrender. Let go of the need to control, to predict, to understand every turn before you take it. The path of awakening is not mapped in certainty but in trust, in listening deeply to that inner guidance that knows your wholeness, that remembers your sacred purpose. We are so often taught to believe that we are incomplete, that fulfillment is somewhere out ahead, always just beyond the next achievement, the next relationship, the next stage of life. But this is the great illusion of the ego, the belief that you are lacking, that you must become more before you are worthy of love, joy, or peace. The truth, whispered softly in the language of the soul, is that you are already enough. Right now, in this breath, you are complete. There is nothing missing from you, nothing broken within you that needs to be fixed before you can step into the fullness of your being. Imagine standing at the threshold of your own possibility, looking out over the landscape of your life. What if you chose, in this moment, to release the weight of every old story that says you are not ready, not capable, not deserving? What if you allowed yourself to see through the eyes of your future self, the one who has already walked through fear and come home to peace, who has learned to forgive, to love, to let go? This is the beginning of true transformation. It is not a matter of willpower, but of willingness, a willingness to surrender your limitations, to open to the mystery of who you are becoming, to trust that every step you take is guided by a deeper wisdom. You are the artist of your own life, and every thought, every intention, every act of kindness is a brushstroke on the canvas of your future. When you imagine your future self, do not see someone separate or far away. See a presence already alive within you, a quiet knowing, a steady courage, a profound compassion. The seeds of your greatness are already planted. Your only task is to nurture them, to create the conditions in which they can flourish. Release the need for certainty. Release the habit of comparing yourself to others, of measuring your progress against the illusions of perfection paraded before you. Your journey is your own, unique as a fingerprint, sacred as the sunrise. The future self you are becoming is not in competition with anyone. It is an unfolding of the divine pattern within you, an echo of the infinite seeking to express itself through your hands, your words, your love. The path to your future self is lit by the lamp of awareness. Notice the thoughts that arise, the feelings that visit you like old friends or unwelcome guests. Each is a messenger, an invitation to deeper understanding, to greater self-compassion. When fear comes, welcome it. When doubt knocks, listen, but do not build your home in those places. Let them pass through you like clouds drifting across the sky, acknowledged but not believed, noticed but not obeyed. You are not your thoughts, you are not your feelings, you are the witness, the space in which all things arise and dissolve. Your power lies not in controlling your inner weather, but in remembering that the sky is never diminished by the passing storm. Your true self is vast, unshakable, timeless. The world will offer you many roles to play, many masks to wear, but the soul cares nothing for these. It calls you always back to truth, back to presence, back to the joy of being alive in this moment. As you step into your future self, make peace with where you are. Healing begins not with judgment, but with acceptance, with the gentle embrace of all that you are, all that you have been, all that you are yet to become. Imagine the child you once were before you learned to doubt your worth, before the world convinced you to shrink. That innocence is not lost. It lives in you still, waiting to be reclaimed, waiting to be loved. You do not need to earn your way into the future. You do not need to prove yourself worthy of happiness or peace. These are your birthright, gifts woven into your being by the very same intelligence that spins the planets and sings the stars into existence. To step into your future self is to accept these gifts, to live in gratitude for the miracle of your own existence, to become a living prayer, an embodiment of love in a world so hungry for healing. Let go of the need to have all the answers. The mind will tell you that you must figure everything out, that safety lies in knowing, in controlling, in holding tightly to what is familiar. But the soul knows that life is a dance, a mystery, a sacred unfolding. Trust the process. Trust yourself. Trust that the same intelligence that grows the tree from the seed, that guides the bird on its migration, is guiding you now, drawing you toward your highest expression. Forgiveness is the key to freedom. Freedom from the past, from resentment, from the stories that bind you. Forgive yourself for the times you forgot your worth. Forgive others for the pain they could not help but cause, for they too are learning, they too are healing, they too are on their own sacred journey. Every act of forgiveness is a step into your future self, a release of what no longer serves, a return to love. Breathe in the possibility of this moment. Feel the quiet power of your own presence. Notice the pulse of life within you, the silent miracle of existence, the inexhaustible well of creativity and compassion that lives at the core of your being. This is who you are, not the labels, not the wounds, not the fleeting fears, but the light behind your eyes, the song within your heart, the unbreakable thread of spirit that connects you to all that is. There is nothing you need to become that you are not already. Your future self is calling you not to change, but to remember to awaken from the dream of separateness, to open your eyes to the truth that you are and have always been whole. Step forward gently. Allow each day to be a new beginning, each breath a recommitment to your own becoming. When you stumble, do not judge. When you fall, rise with kindness. Every experience is a teacher. Every moment is an opportunity to love more deeply, to forgive more fully, to live more authentically. The world needs your light, your presence, your unique voice. Do not hide it. Do not wait for permission. Step into your future self with courage and humility, with gratitude and awe. Trust that your life is meaningful, that your journey is sacred, that every step you take is guided by love. Remember that you are a being of infinite worth, a soul on a journey of awakening, a vessel of the divine. Your future self is already alive within you, whispering words of encouragement, shining light on the path ahead. Listen, trust, become. As you do, you become a beacon for others, a living testament to the power of love, forgiveness, and presence. In stepping into your future self, you inspire those around you to do the same, to awaken to their own greatness, to remember their own divinity. The ripples of your transformation extend far beyond what you can see, touching lives you will never know, healing wounds you will never witness, creating a legacy of light that endures long after you have left this world. So step boldly, step gently, step in faith. The future is not something to fear or control. It is a field of infinite possibility, waiting for you to claim it, to dance within it, to create beauty and meaning from the raw materials of your own life. Let go of the past. Forgive, release, surrender, embrace the present. Breathe in the miracle of this moment. Trust in the unfolding. You are not lost. You are being led. You are not broken. You are becoming. You are not alone. You are part of a vast, loving intelligence that holds you in every moment, that guides you home to yourself. This is the truth your soul has always known. Step into your future self and let the world be changed by your becoming. There is a secret in every sunrise, a reminder that each day you awaken, you are offered another chance to begin again, to see with new eyes, to shed the burdens of yesterday and walk forward as if this is the first morning of your entire existence. The future self you long for does not live somewhere out on the unreachable horizon, but in the quiet courage it takes to say yes to this moment as it is, with nothing withheld and nothing denied. You are not here to relive old patterns or reenact yesterday's doubts. You are here to realize, through each breath and each small act of faith, the miracle of your own presence. Let your thoughts be like wildflowers in an open field, some bright, some fleeting, some tender and unexpected. Do not pluck at them. Do not judge the garden of your mind, but let it be. Notice which thoughts uplift and which weigh you down, which stories you return to when tired or afraid. The mind is a faithful servant, but a poor master. It will replay old wounds, rehearse future fears, insist upon limitation, but the soul, vast and patient, remains undisturbed by these clouds. The sky is always blue behind the weather. Your future self is not bound by the mind's insistence on suffering. It is the watcher, the gentle witness, the calm center within the swirl of experience. To step into your future self is to choose again and again the path of love over the path of fear. It is to pause before reacting, to ask yourself, what would the highest version of me do in this moment? Would I defend or would I forgive? Would I withhold or would I give freely? Would I dwell in the safety of old certainties or would I risk opening to the unknown, allowing life to surprise me with beauty beyond what I had planned? Consider the seed that lies in the dark earth. It does not resist the darkness nor rush the sun's return. It waits, surrendering to a wisdom deeper than thought. It trusts the process of its own unfolding, knowing that every moment is a necessary part of its becoming. You too are planted in the soil of experience, watered by the rains of joy and sorrow, warmed by the sunlight of awareness. You do not have to force your future into being. You need only allow, nourish, and remain present to the process that is ever unfolding within you. The world will ask you to hurry. It will tell you there is not enough time, not enough opportunity, not enough of you to go around. It will tempt you to measure your days by what you have accumulated, who you have impressed, what you have achieved. But your soul knows a different rhythm, the slow, steady pace of inner evolution, the music of growth that cannot be rushed, the eternal patience of becoming. The future self you seek is never in a hurry, never anxious or striving. It is here in the quiet spaces inviting you to listen. Look around you now. Wherever you are, whatever you are doing, life is happening. Even in this very breath, the future is arriving, disguised as the present, offering you the raw materials of awareness, choice, and intention. You do not need to see the entire path to take the next step. You need only trust the invitation of your own heart. Every great journey is made in a series of tiny, conscious steps, each one a miracle, each one an act of faith. Release the stories that have kept you small, the judgments, the comparisons, the disappointments collected like stones in your pocket. Put them down. Walk unburdened into the possibility of now. The weight you have carried was never yours to bear. The world may have taught you to shrink, to hide your light, to settle for less than your soul desires, but you are not obligated to believe those lessons anymore. The future self you are becoming has no need for such protection. It is safe in its own presence, grounded in its own truth, free in the knowledge that worthiness is not earned but remembered. Sometimes the greatest act of courage is to remain open to life, to love, to your own vulnerability. The ego will whisper that openness is dangerous, that you must armor yourself against disappointment, heartbreak, loss. But the future self that lives within you knows otherwise. It knows that every closed door is an opportunity to turn inward, to rediscover the sanctuary of your own being, to cultivate resilience that is rooted in acceptance rather than resistance. Openness is the soil in which your future self takes root. There are moments when doubt will rise like a tide, threatening to wash away the shoreline of your faith. When that happens, pause, breathe. Remember that the ocean always returns to calm, that the waves of emotion are temporary visitors, not permanent residents. Doubt is not a sign that you are lost. It is an invitation to return, to recommit, to listen more deeply. Your future self is not the absence of doubt, but the mastery of presence in its midst. Let your life be guided by questions, not answers. The greatest transformations begin with curiosity. What if I am more than I believe myself to be? What if forgiveness really can set me free? What if the peace I seek is not somewhere in the distance, but waiting for me right here in this very moment, if only I am willing to be still enough to notice it? The answers will come not as conclusions to be grasped, but as gentle revelations, as shifts in perception, as new ways of being that emerge when you are patient enough to receive them. Do not wait for your future self to arrive before you begin to love yourself. Begin now. Be gentle with your own becoming. Speak to yourself with a kindness you would offer a beloved friend, for that is what you are, a friend to your own soul, a companion on this sacred journey. Every time you choose compassion over criticism, every time you honor your needs rather than ignore them, every time you forgive rather than condemn, you are weaving the fabric of your future self, thread by luminous thread. Understand that life is not a test to be passed, but a mystery to be lived. There are no wrong turns, only new directions, no failures, only lessons wrapped in disguise. The mistakes you regret are simply invitations to greater wisdom. The pain you carry is an opportunity for deeper healing. Your future self does not judge your past. It welcomes it, embraces it, transforms it through the alchemy of acceptance. You are the dreamer and the dream, the creator and the created, the observer and the participant. The more you awaken to this truth, the less power the circumstances of life have over you. You will find that nothing external, no achievement, no relationship, no possession can add to or subtract from the inherent value of your being. True peace comes not from rearranging the outer world, but from realizing the inner world is already whole. Let gratitude be your constant companion. Thank the experiences that shaped you, the challenges that stretched you, the joys that uplifted you. Thank the teachers who came disguised as obstacles, the friends who arrived as blessings, the quiet moments that reminded you of your own resilience. The more you cultivate gratitude, the more you tune your awareness to the abundance that is already present. Your future self is a master of gratitude, seeing the sacred in the ordinary, the miracle in the mundane. It is not enough to wish for a better life. You must become the space in which a better life can unfold. Shift your thoughts from lack to possibility, from fear to trust, from separation to unity. The universe responds to the frequency of your inner state. When you align your consciousness with the truth of your own divinity, doors open, opportunities emerge, synchronicities multiply. Your future self is not waiting for life to change, but changing life by the quality of its presence. There will be days when the shadows seem long, when progress feels invisible, when hope flickers like a candle in the wind. In those moments, remember, every winter yields to spring, every night to dawn. Trust the process. Trust the timing. Trust that you are exactly where you need to be, learning exactly what you need to learn, becoming exactly who you are meant to become. The soul does not rush. It trusts the slow miracle of its own transformation. As you move forward, let your actions be rooted in love. Not the love that clings or expects, but the love that frees and expands, that accepts without condition, that sees itself reflected in every living being. The future self you are becoming is not separate from the world, but deeply connected to it, recognizing the sacred thread that binds all life. Every act of kindness you offer, every word of encouragement you share, every moment of presence you give to another is a ripple in the ocean of collective awakening. You are not your circumstances, nor are you the sum of your accomplishments. You are the awareness that experiences all of it, the joy and the sorrow, the gain and the loss, the beginning and the end. You are the silent witness, the open space, the presence in which life happens. The more you identify with this awareness, the less you are thrown by the changing tides of fortune. Your future self is calm in the midst of chaos, centered in the whirlwind, anchored in the eternal. Let go of the need to prove yourself. There is nothing you need to justify, no one you need to impress. Your worth is inherent, unconditional, and infinite. When you live from this place of inner security, you become magnetic. Opportunities arise, relationships flourish, creativity flows. Your life becomes a mirror for others, reflecting the possibility of peace, the reality of inner freedom, the truth that we are all, in essence, one. So as you step into your future self, do so with reverence and humility. Bow to the journey that brought you here. Bless the path ahead, knowing it is being created with every intention you set, every choice you make, every breath you take. You are both the traveler and the trailblazer, the seeker and the sage. The future is not written in stone. It is painted with the colors of your own becoming. Remember, always, that you are loved beyond measure, guided beyond understanding, supported beyond imagination. You are never alone, never abandoned, never without hope. The universe conspires in your favor, orchestrating the details of your life with a wisdom that far exceeds the plans of the mind. Trust this. Lean into it. Allow yourself to be carried by the current of grace. And when the voice of doubt returns, as it inevitably will, let it be a reminder to come home to yourself, to the place where your soul resides, where your future self is already waiting, arms open, heart wide, welcoming you into the fullness of your being. Breathe, listen, step forward. You are ready. You always have been. There is a sacred rhythm that hums beneath the surface of all things, a pulse older than time, echoing in the chambers of your heart. If you listen not just with your ears, but with your whole being, you will hear it whisper, "You are already home." This is the music of your future self, calling you forward, calling you inward, calling you to remember that every longing, every desire, every prayer you have ever uttered is not a plea for something outside yourself, but a remembering of what has always lived within. Allow your imagination, that divine gift, to paint a picture as vivid as any dawn. See yourself rising each morning, not weighed down by yesterday, but lifted by the possibility of today. The room may look the same, the mirror unchanged, but within your gaze there is new light, new softness, new certainty. Feel the cool air upon your skin and recognize it as the breath of your own becoming. Feel the floor beneath your feet and know that every step you take upon this earth is a sacred one, every moment a unique note in the great symphony of your life. You are not here by accident, nor are you the product of random circumstance. You are the deliberate expression of an intelligence so vast, so loving, so unfathomably creative that it chose to experience itself as you. Imagine for a moment that you are both the sculptor and the clay, shaping and being shaped, choosing and being chosen, a living paradox in perpetual transformation. When you step into your future self, you are not chasing some distant ideal. You are allowing the hands of the divine to reveal what has always been hidden in your depths. Release the urge to force outcomes, to rush healing, to demand answers from the universe before you are ready to receive them. There is nothing wrong with where you are. There is only the invitation to see it anew. When you resist your present, you wage war against your own soul. When you accept, you become the space in which miracles can unfold. Notice the trees, how they bend with the wind, how they surrender their leaves to autumn's call, trusting that spring will return. Your soul too knows the wisdom of letting go. Let this be the season where you surrender old scripts and tired narratives. If you have defined yourself by wounds, allow yourself to imagine a story where healing is possible, where your scars are not signs of defeat but testaments to the resilience of your spirit. The future self who calls you forward is not untouched by pain but transformed by it, softened, opened, made more compassionate. In every heartbreak, there is a lesson. In every ending, the seed of a new beginning. The river of your life may twist and turn, but it is always moving, always finding its way home. Do not be afraid of the darkness. The future is not an empty void, but fertile soil where the seeds of your intention can take root. When you close your eyes and rest in stillness, you enter that creative silence where all things are possible. In this space, fear dissolves, worry quiets, and the voice of the soul rises clear and true. You are safe, it tells you. You are held, you are loved. The next step will reveal itself as you move. You are not meant to walk this path alone. Every soul you meet is a mirror, reflecting back to you an aspect of yourself, a lesson you need, a kindness you can offer. When you step into your future self, you will see the sacred in the stranger, the teacher in the adversary, the friend in the unfamiliar. You will realize that there is no separation, only different faces of the same divine light. Compassion will come more easily, forgiveness more naturally, because you will recognize your own struggles in the eyes of another. Let your presence be your greatest gift. In a world distracted by noise and urgency, choose to be the calm in the storm, the steady hand, the gentle voice. Each moment you offer your undivided attention to a loved one, to a stranger, to yourself, is a moment that heals the fabric of the world. The future self you are stepping into knows that nothing is more valuable than this: to see and to be seen, without judgment, without agenda, simply with love. Allow the ordinary to astonish you, the warmth of sunlight upon your face, the laughter of children, the song of the wind through the trees. These are not mere accidents, but invitations to joy, reminders that the sacred is woven into every detail of this life. When you cultivate awareness, gratitude becomes effortless. You discover that heaven is not a destination, but a way of seeing, a perspective available to you right now, wherever you are, however you feel. If you should find yourself in moments of pain or loneliness, do not flee. Sit with yourself tenderly, as you would with a beloved child. Place a hand over your heart and breathe. Remind yourself that all things pass, that nothing is ever truly lost, that your future self has walked through this valley and found a meadow on the other side. Healing is not about erasing what hurts, but about expanding your capacity to hold it, to let the light in around the edges, until even the darkest place is illuminated. Your life is not a race. The journey of awakening is not measured by milestones or achievements, but by the depth of your experience, the sincerity of your surrender, the courage with which you meet the unknown. Every detour, every delay, every disappointment has a purpose, even if it is hidden from view. Trust that your soul is guiding you perfectly, that what is meant for you cannot be lost, and that your greatest growth often happens in the spaces where you feel most uncertain. As you step more fully into your future self, begin to notice the small shifts, the way you respond to criticism, the way you treat your own body, the thoughts you choose to entertain. Change does not arrive as thunder or earthquake, but as the quiet turn of a leaf, the gentle shift of the wind. Let each day be a new experiment in loving yourself, in honoring your boundaries, in living with intention. Your future self is not waiting for you at the finish line, but walking beside you in every moment, offering encouragement, patience, and unconditional acceptance. Remember, you are a creator. The thoughts you nurture, the beliefs you cherish, the dreams you dare to pursue, these are the tools with which you shape your world. What you hold in mind, you bring to life. The future self you are becoming is the artist behind the scenes, whispering inspiration, guiding your hands, reminding you of the power you possess. Do not let fear dictate your palette. Paint boldly, love deeply, risk vulnerability, for it is through the cracks in your armor that the light gets in. If ever you doubt your progress, look not to the judgments of the world, but to the quiet revolution unfolding within. Notice the gentleness growing where anger once lived, the hope blossoming where despair once took root. These are the signs of true transformation, evidence that you are indeed stepping into your future self, not by leaping, but by living with presence, by choosing love, by allowing grace to do its silent work. You are enough. You have always been enough. The world may have convinced you otherwise, but the voice of your soul, older than the mountains, softer than the dawn, reminds you again and again that you are perfect in your becoming. Nothing needs to be added, nothing taken away. The acorn does not wish to be an apple, nor the sun to be the moon. Be who you are, fully, bravely, unapologetically. The future you seek is not in front of you, but within you, awaiting your recognition, your welcome, your embrace. Let your legacy be one of love. Not in grand gestures or monuments, but in the simple acts of kindness, the moments of presence, the quiet choices that ripple outward and change the world in ways you may never see. Each time you choose forgiveness over resentment, understanding over judgment, compassion over indifference, you are weaving the future from the fabric of your own awakened heart. As you listen now, feel the stirring within. There is nothing you must do, nowhere you must go. Simply be. Breathe. Trust that your being is enough, that your presence is a blessing, that your willingness to awaken is already shaping a future beyond your wildest imagining. Step into your future self not as a destination to be reached, but as a way of being, a dance with the mystery, a love letter to the soul. And when you meet your own reflection, whether in the eyes of another or in the quiet of the early morning, greet yourself with the reverence you deserve. Bow to the journey that has shaped you, bless the road that lies ahead, and know with every cell of your being that you are home. Continue this journey as often as you need. The invitation will never expire, the path will never close. With each step you remember, with each breath you awaken, and with each gentle act of love you step more fully, more deeply, more beautifully into the sacred truth of your future self. And so, in the gentle hush of your own becoming, let yourself surrender to the silent wisdom within. Feel how each breath is both an ending and a beginning, a subtle dissolving of what was, a quiet welcoming of what may be. You are here now, in this tender space between all that is past and all that is still to come, and it is enough. The world softens, the heart expands, and the voice of your soul rises clear and timeless, whispering that every moment is a doorway, every heartbeat a return to the home you never truly left. You do not need to chase what is already yours. You do not need to strive for worthiness. Like sunlight spilling through an open window, your future self is always entering, always illuminating the hidden corners, always inviting you to rest in the truth that you are and have always been whole. Let go of questions, let go of old names. Stand quietly in the open field of your own awareness and let the mystery of your life unfold, soft as morning light. Bless your path with gratitude for the joys, the sorrows, the beauty and the breaking, for each has shaped you, each has polished the soul's radiant core. Forgive easily, love without reason. Return again and again to the still center where peace and possibility dwell. You are the answer you have sought. You are the gift you have waited for. Step gently now, not into a distant future, but into the luminous now, where the self you've longed for stands patiently, arms open, heart unguarded, forever welcoming you home.